Tuesday, 3rd of March 2026. Final full week in Sydney. Where has the time gone? That is a good question. Where has the time gone? It feels like yesterday, just kind of arriving here, and that was in November, and now we're in March. Yeah, just gone so quick. I found a full week this week. Busy weekend, going to be out kind of celebrating my kind of last weekend in Sydney. Today, we obviously leave Sydney a week tomorrow. Head to Brisbane, and then Perth, and then Asia, and then home. So yeah, in 28 days or a month's time, I'll be back home. So still got a lot to do in the next month. Yeah, it's gone quick. Anyway, today I am in Parramatta. So if you guys who don't know, Parramatta is kind of, it's technically classed as West Sydney, but it's actually the central point of Sydney. So I know a lot of Sydney's kind of focused on the eastern suburbs and CBD, but the actual centre point is Parramatta. I'm just going to have a wander around Parramatta. There's Parramatta Park, have a wander around the city. So what they're trying to do here is they're trying to make this the second city. So they're trying to move a lot of kind of, from what I've been told, a lot of businesses are moving towards Parramatta because I think it's a bit cheaper than kind of CBD. Yeah, they're just trying to make this kind of the central hub of Sydney, because obviously that eastern suburbs is very constricted by people, housing, etc. Just a lot of people in a very small area. So Parramatta, obviously you've got a lot more space over this side, because obviously if you keep going west, you go into the Blue Mountains, you go into the bush, way west, but and the same in the north and south as well. So yeah, it's just kind of wander around Parramatta. It's like, and then go to Parramatta Park, and then I think I'm going to head to Sydney Olympic Park and go for a bit of a walk there, and probably get a ferry back to Sydney. That's my rough plan for today. So yeah, just thought I'd come and have a look. I think it's very easy to just kind of stick in the eastern suburbs and stick around Sydney CBD and live. Like, that's pretty much all I've done. Like, I think over the last, I don't know how many months, I've spent 6 months or 5 months of my life here. I've spent 98% of that time in kind of the CBD eastern suburbs area, whereas like today I'm obviously venturing to Parramatta and into the west, or inner west I suppose. So yeah, give you guys a bit of a look around Parramatta, yeah, show you kind of what's going on. Obviously you can see the building in the background there, so yeah, they're just trying to make this, like I said, a bit of a hub. And obviously Nav Bank just in front of me, Westfield. So yeah, they are trying to make a job building up. Anyway, it's going to have a wander. I will catch you guys in a bit. So that behind me, that is Church Street. So it's like loads of restaurants. So I was looking on ChatGPT and it's saying that there's loads of new restaurants have opened up since kind of Parramatta's developed. Honestly, it's having a look, like, considering it was like a weekday or like midday, like they're not actually, pretty busy, like relatively busy. So that is definitely worth a look. This is Parramatta Park, or this is like the Parramatta Park. So there's like the AFC Women's Asia Cup is going on, and I'm going to take a guess that they may be part of it. Who knows? Not sure. And then we're going to basically walk down there, because that is the full Parramatta Park. Have a wander down there, shall we? Okay, this is Parramatta Park, featuring the Commonwealth Bank Stadium behind me. So apparently there's a massive game going on today between North Korea women and Uzbekistan women in the Asia Cup. It's the home of the Western Sydney Wanderers as well. They're a football team, I believe, that play in the Australia Football League. Anyway, we're in Parramatta Park. So just gonna have a bit of a wander. See the Parramatta CBD behind me. It's not too far, it's like 10-minute walk if that, through CBD. So just gonna have a wander around the park and see what's going on. But yeah, I'm already feeling like Parramatta's a kind of place where like you'd come for a few hours. There isn't much going on. It's a bit dead. Yeah, but apparently there's some good cycling track though. Cycling tracks along the river. So I think this river here is like, you can pretty much cycle for like, I think 10, 20, 30 kilometres I think. So that is definitely worth a look. Yeah, definitely not a bad little park. So we have arrived at Lake Parramatta Reserve. This is the lake. So you can swim down there, but unfortunately I'm not equipped for swimming. Also there's no lifeguard, and I don't know, since I've been watching too many episodes of Bondi Rescue recently and clips, I've just realised the sea is a dangerous place and water is a dangerous place. So there is no lifeguard. And also, it doesn't look the nicest versus some, obviously, the beaches on the eastern suburbs and on the northern beaches, e.g. Manly. But yeah, this is it. This is Lake Parramatta. not bad at all. Especially if, like, I suppose you live in this area, come for a little dip. What you got, probably 45 minutes, I think, away from the beaches. So you're obviously not that close to the shore. Like, goes all the way down there, so you can obviously walk on the path. I'm gonna walk a bit further and then head back into the city and then make my way back into Sydney CBD, I think, because yeah, it's kind of very similar. There's not much to it. It's just kind of, it's very similar to this the whole way around. There aren't any like cool lookouts, I don't think. We'll have a bit of one to see if there's anything else. But yeah, that's kind of it really. Admittedly, slightly disappointing considering how far I've walked to get here. I've got to walk all the way back, but it is what it is. So this is about 20 seconds from where I was a second ago. And this gives you a good example of the lake. Basically goes down there. And obviously you can see the paths over there. But yeah, gonna leave it here and head back to Parramatta CBD and head back to the city. Tuesday, 10th of March 2026, last day in Sydney. Last day in Sydney for a while. Yeah, so just coming down to the Bondi to Coogee walk. Start at Bondi. Quite moody, overcast. And yeah, just going to do Bondi to Coogee, try and race through it in about an hour and a half. And then go meet Lizzie for some dinner somewhere. But yeah, sad times. Wednesday, the 11th of March 2026. We are done. My Sydney summer has come to an end. I left Sydney from Sydney to Brisbane, and I'm now in Brisbane in my Airbnb, which I will show you in a second because the view is insane. So yeah, I'm kind of sad to kind of, you know, live in Sydney, like in my opinion one of the best cities in the world, or my favourite city, and be able to kind of live that life for 3.5 or nearly 4 months is, yeah, I'm very grateful. Because many people don't get the chance, many people don't get a chance to live abroad, many people don't get a chance to live in such an amazing place like Sydney. Of course it, you know, and I'm very, very grateful, but of course it has come with its challenges. Much I love Sydney, I love Australia, I think the reality is I couldn't move here permanently. I love the UK too much, but I absolutely love Australia, and that is going to be one of the kind of hardest things about moving forward when I go home and stuff, is that part of my heart, a bit sad that, but part of my heart is in Sydney and part of my heart is Australia, so I think my life goal is to try and spend as much time as I can here, but I also know the UK and Europe and Manchester is where I want to be kind of long term to base myself out of. But I would endeavour to come to Australia as much as possible. When I came out here, it was 4th time in 6 or 7 years, 2019, 2020, 24, 2025. And yeah, all being well, be back here back end of next year or the start of 2028. So yeah, very, very sad. But we must move on. I have to go and live my life. I have to go and do what I need to do. And yeah, although I'm glad I did it, it has come with its challenges. The housing market's been cooked. Like quite a few issues back home to deal with. Struggle to get settled. Struggle with any major kind of routine. Sleep pattern was just majorly fucked up by the UK issues. Just not really having my plan. I think when I came out I thought it was good at the time. When I walked back now, my plan was pretty poor, and I probably came out too late. Like if I wanted to spend extended time in Sydney, I probably should have come out in September. And I think as well, like the mask starts to slip. I think people say to me, "Oh, Sydney's amazing. The weather's always amazing." That's not the case, and the housing market and trying to find a place very, very difficult. I was kind of worried that, especially last month, was my kind of image of Sydney, being tarnished. And maybe it slightly has, but it hasn't ruined it enough that I don't want to come back. In suburbs and the city centre and the CBD and northern beaches, like Manly and stuff, are amazing, incredible, but, if you live in the inner west or the west and, you've got a 2-hour commute to work and you're not living anywhere the beaches and have that lifestyle, then I think, Sydney can just kind of become like any other city. And that's probably reasons why, I kind of realised that as much as I love it, I also realise, I'm viewing it through a glossy lens. I've not been brought up in Sydney. I can kind of pick where I want to be. But yeah, I'm glad I've done it. Sad obviously to be leaving, but I'm looking forward to kind of getting back there in the future. it's gone so quickly. That's the one thing. It's like it feels it was like yesterday that I landed in November, and now we're in March, and the time has gone so quick. And I think that's been done so much, and tried to get out as much out of the experience as I could, and tried to do my best. And it hasn't been perfect, and I think a lot of my time has been affected by stuff in the UK that I've been dealing with. But I'm just grateful I got the chance to do it. And yeah, I sit here in Brisbane now, just kind of reflecting the last 3.5 months, and like, I'm glad I did it because it removed that kind of doubt in my mind that, Sydney is the place I want to spend the rest of my life. And I think I got rid of the doubt, and deep down I know the UK is the best place for me. But I will always keep visiting this place because this place is absolutely magical. It's incredible. Even Melbourne, even Brisbane. I'm here in Brisbane now, and yeah, just kind of grateful to be in Australia. So rough kind of plan for the next basic 3 weeks. I've got 3 weeks till I go home. So in Brisbane till today's obviously Wednesday to go to Brisbane. I'm in Brisbane till Monday. Monday evening I fly to Perth. I'm in Perth till the following Sunday. Sunday I then fly to Langkawi. I do Langkawi, then Singapore, then Penang, and then head back to the UK. Fly home from Singapore via Jeddah with Air Saudi, land in Birmingham, April, I think. This is kind of the travel part of my trip. I'm looking forward to kind of showing you bits of some new bits. Obviously Perth, Langkawi, Penang I've obviously never been to. Singapore I've been to, but it was just before COVID. So looking forward to just kind of seeing this city in its proper light. I vaguely remember they were setting up the scanning machines when I flew back in 2020. So yeah, looking forward to kind of exploring Singapore a bit more. And that is the next 3 weeks. 3 weeks of travelling, and then head back and yeah, go back to normal life, go back to realities, and start building again. Anyway, what's the plan in Brisbane? Brisbane, just kind of chill, do some work, crack on with some work, yeah, and then maybe do a couple bits if I get time. I just want to show you this view. So this is my room. I'll turn you around. There's me. That's my room, and then that is the view outside. I don't know how well you can see that, but I will head out now and show you the view. It is insane. Yeah, absolutely insane view. Look at that. Absolutely insane view. Got the river, Story Bridge, that takes you into Fortune Barrow, the nightlife area is. Got the sea cats, the city cats, it's the ferries that take you on the river. And then you can kind of see some planes going over, so they are obviously doing some kind of, you're not too far from the kind of airport, so you see the planes flying over. Yeah, absolutely insane. What a view. Wish that wasn't there, so get a better view on still view. Unreal. Then just jumping back to two segments, just want to kind of round up the last few days. So Saturday I met up with Eli, Andrea, Talitha and Lizzie. So me and Talitha went for some drinks in Surrey Hills, and then we met up in Hotel CBD, one of my favourite top 3 favourite bars in the world. Had a few drinks there, and then basically called it a night quite early because everyone went. I think Talitha and Lizzie had an event booked, and Andrea and Eli went home quite early, so called it a night quite early. What did I do Sunday? Oh yeah, it was Lizzie's birthday, so went around Balmain, went to on a bit of a bar crawl, Sunday sesh around Balmain, so that was good. And then Monday, did I do anything Monday? No, don't think so. And then yesterday I just went for some, I did the Bondi to Coogee walk, and then Lizzie came to Coogee and we had like a pizza and watched the sunset, which was lovely. A lovely way to spend my final evening in Australia, final evening in Sydney. Yeah, Coogee, one of my favourite places in Sydney, so yeah, it was really nice. Very, very wholesome kind of few days. Yeah, just very, very grateful. I think I said this before, like, I hadn't met, a lot of people I've kind of spent my time around whilst I've been here, I didn't know very well, and, it's kind of nice that people came out and, wanted to hang and stuff like that, so very, very grateful. So yeah, very, very wholesome. A lot of gratitude for, the last 4 months.